Arbor University of Physical Therapy. Today we are going to show you some exercises that we call the lower quadrant stretching program.
On a mat.
On a mat, yes. It's different. It's different than the one we do on the stairs. It's standing. So some people can't do that very well. So we want to make sure we give them other options to stretch the different parts of the quadrant. So today we're going to do that. So with no further ado, I think we'll get started. So let's start with, well, we should talk to them about what the quadrant is because maybe they didn't see the other video.
Right.
So why don't you tell us what the quadrants are?
Actually, I can explain that while you're getting up out of the mat.
All right,
okay?
that's good.
So we call it the quadrant stretching program because we separate the hip into 4 areas. So the 4 areas are the front, the back, the inside, so the front, the side, outside, inside, and the back. So we have created stretches, or we have put together some stretches that target each area individually. And so the first quadrant that we're going to work on right now, you want to target the front quadrant first?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so this first quadrant is your hip flexors. And so what we're going to have our patients do, and Mitch is demonstrating, is go into this tall, kneeling kind of position. And so in this position, again, you can do this on a mat or on the floor as long as you have something under your knee.
Yeah, as long as you put a pillow underneath your knee because it might irritate your knee a little bit. Yeah.
So sitting up nice and tall, I want you to keep your shoulders back and then push your hips forward.
Ooh, boy, I feel it right there. That's a good stretch.
And so this is the beginning of the hip flexor stretch, but we want to move in all the planes of motion.
Okay.
And so right now you're moving front to back in what's called the sagittal plane. But we also want to move side to side in what's known as the frontal plane. And then you can also do circles clockwise and counterclockwise to hit that transverse plane.
So this is called dynamic stretching, and one of the things you can do, you could just hold the position and stretch like this and try to relax and let the muscle stretch. But my preference is we do dynamic stretching. I get kind of bored with just doing stretching, just holding a position. So kind of having a dynamic stretch is more fun for me. And I think that it actually works a little better for my patients. So I recommend dynamic stretching. So, but we don't, and you bring up the point quite often,
Yes.
that the point is?
We don't bounce.
Oh,
We do not bounce. Yeah.
like
If
this.
you do quick jerky movements in any direction, you're actually going to fire up those muscles even more and make them more angry and more tight, and you've defeated the purpose of your stretch. All right.
So smooth, rhythmical motions just in and out of the position, right?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. And every stretch you do on one side, you just mirror on the other. So that was the first quadrant in the front. The next quadrant we're going to work on is
The outside, let's do
outside.
that. Yeah, let's do the outside quadrant, the lateral quadrant.
All right, so what Mitch is going to do is go into all fours, and then he's going to kick both of his feet to one side. On this example, he's kicking his feet to the right side. And so now I need you to straighten out your right leg over your left leg, and then slide all the way back. Notice how he has his left leg across his hip to the front. Okay, so his foot's not tucked behind him, like so. No. There we go. Like so. And then in this position, he just goes bringing his leg as far back as possible until he feels a good stretch in the left hip. Okay, and here we still do the same principle of moving in all 3 planes of motion. So you can rock front to back, side to side, and clockwise and counterclockwise circles.
Good.
So, perfect.
Yeah. Oh, I feel better.
Good. That was quick.
Yes.
All right, so the next one we're going to do is actually the inside quadrant called your hip adductors. And so what Mitch is going to do, just like that, you're going to sit with feet in front of you and then actually bring your feet as far apart as possible, like so.
Yeah.
And then lean forward. And what you'll notice is you'll get a really strong stretch on that inseam of your pant line. All right. Now, again, not bouncing. This is a really easy one to do bouncing with. So make sure it's slow and controlled going forward.
And you can do circles again. You can do nice little circles just to make it really dynamic in multiple directions.
And if you notice, say that you're tighter on your right hip or your left hip, you can really focus on whichever side you feel a stronger stretch.
I feel tighter on the right side, and when I go right in this area here of the circle right there, I feel the most stretch right there. So I will spend a little more time right in this area just to get that to loosen up a little.
Perfect. All right,
Okay, what's next, Kat?
final quadrant.
Yes.
Back of the leg. So what Mitch is gonna do is lay on his back for me.
And
Now,
I'm gonna show off first.
he's gonna show off first. For this final stretch, you're probably gonna want to have a strap on hand, and you can use a belt, a towel, dog leash, anything like that. But what Mitch is doing is stretching his hamstring by bringing his leg up straight, and then bending and straightening his knee, like so. That's a pretty intense stretch.
It is intense,
Mhm.
but not everybody's gonna be able to do this, right, Kat?
No, I can't do this. I'm the person that needs a strap. So if you can't reach and hold onto your foot and bring it all the way up, the strap is just in place. Like so. Went all the way up. And then from here, you can still do that bending and straightening of your knee. Now, if you want to target more of that, if you want to isolate the biceps, biceps femoris, hamstring, or really the outside of the hamstring, all you're going to do is just drop your leg across, still keeping your shoulders on the floor or on the mat table, like so. Perfect.
And then if you wanna get really creative, you can always go the other way too, and stretch the other side.
Shaking things up there.
Yeah. Okay.
Alrighty.
So
So-
does that cover all of them?
Yeah, we got the front,
Okay.
the inside, outside, and back.
Okay.
So that is our quadrant stretching program for the mat, and that's what we have for today.
Yeah, I don't have anything else. There you go. So try all those exercises out. And remember, there's also a standing quadrant stretching program for the leg too. So try either one of those, see what works for you. See you later.